Look at the crowd, look at the view here in Santa Barbara. You must be really excited.
Oh, Mark, this is exciting because this is the first reception we've been able to hold for our sponsors and supporters here in Santa Barbara.
And that's the point, isn't it, to thank people who are already supporting you.
Yes, we've been up now for 2 years,
Right.
and these are part of the people. We're going to be out here for a couple hours
Right.
just thanking people as they come through.
And I see all the tables have all of the projects that you're sponsoring.
Yes, I think there are probably a dozen tables here manned by our steering committee and by our student volunteers, and you can learn about our study abroad programs.
Yeah. Now, I understand that you've arranged for a name very prominent in our community. Supervisor Janet Wolf is going to be here, and she's going to read a proclamation. Is that right?
Yes, Janet is here now, and we're
okay.
just getting ready. We'll do that. Hopefully we'll catch that,
right.
and you can edit it in.
All right. And your best reason for supporting 2020 A Year Without War, your very best reason.
Well, there's human suffering that could be avoided, and there's money to be saved. And when you come to our website and look at our blogs and follow some of our partners, and you realize that at this point, this has become an irrational, meaning that nobody wins. The winners don't win, the losers don't win. Everybody loses, both in terms of blood and money, when we use war to resolve the inevitable conflicts we're going to have. You and I have some political differences, probably.
Just a few.
But again, you don't need to go to war over
No.
these things. That's what we want to be able to get the world to think about. And the program, again, is very simple. We're not a peace program or a peace a peace group
Peace
or
movement
peace
or-
movement,
yeah,
whatever.
right.
And we're not
We're not
religious or
crackpots.
partisan.
And we're not crackpots either.
We'll leave that up
Well,
to you
I mean,
people.
that's me.
But again, it's just a very simple goal. Just see if we can get 2020 to be a year without war, and what we need are people to join. If we get 800 million and major organizations, we think history will tip.
Thank you, Joe White, the visionary founder of A Year Without War 2020. And now back to the studio. Hi, I'm here with a good friend of mine, Maddie Jacobson, who's here with her husband, Peter Jacobson, and they are wonderful supporters of both the Santa Barbara City College Foundation and 2020, A Year Without War. Thanks for being here, Maddie.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to support this wonderful organization. And you're going to ask me why. Probably,
Yeah, I am
right?
going to
Is that
ask.
what you're gonna ask me?
Yes, you're
And
very.
I would say why, because why not? Why wouldn't I want there to be peace?
That's my
on
favorite
Earth
reason.
in
That's my
2020?
favorite reason.
That's why.
Who could not support this, right?
That's exactly
You'd have to
right.
be Meshuggah.
You have to be Meshuggah. So
All
I
right.
appreciate all that everyone is doing in this organization.
Well, we appreciate what you do through the foundation, Santa Barbara City College Foundation, which very kindly looks after
yes,
A Year
we
Without
do.
War.
We look after your money.
And you look after our money, and without what you've been doing, we wouldn't be standing here today, believe me. So thank you very
Well,
much.
it's our pleasure. This is the joy of being a part of the foundation, to do things like this. So it's our pleasure.
Maddie is a wonderful
pleasure.
friend of Santa Barbara City College, the foundation, and of course me.
And you, of course. I've been
All
on
right.
your radio show.
Maybe we can find Peter. Maybe we can find Peter Jacobson and we
Okay,
can get him.
sure,
Yes,
I'll
and
get
thank
it
you
for
for
you.
sponsoring my show,
Oh,
by
it's
the way.
our pleasure.
And now back to the studio.
Okay. Anytime you're ready.
All right, are we ready here, camera crew? Okay. And how do we start this?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Janet Wolf. I'm the 2nd District Supervisor, and we actually happen to be in the 2nd District in the County of Santa Barbara. And I just want to welcome all of you here, especially the kids who came here from Lompoc. We really appreciate that you made the drive all the way down here. You know, I have 3 grown daughters, and I have a grandson, and I served on the Goleta School Board for 12 years, and now I'm in my going to start my 3rd term as a supervisor. And I'll tell you, there's so many needs in our community, and I oftentimes think, well, what, you know, sometimes it seems so overwhelming. How do we fix something? How do we take care of a child? How do we take care of a veteran? How do we take care of an elderly person? But you know, the fact is that we do. If we are aware of certain issues, we can do something. And all of you who have taken this stand to say that we will have no war in the year 2020, you are making a statement that this is possible. And and to not believe that. I mean, when I first heard it, and I think maybe many of you thought the same thing, it's like, oh, that will never happen. You know, I've been to Rwanda, I've been to Uganda, I've been to Israel, I've been to places that have been war torn, and I don't understand how it is that people who know each other, who live near each other, can kill each other. But it happens, and it's something that I will never understand about human nature. But the fact of the matter is we are humans. We are part of this world population, and I think the fact that this was started here, what an amazing man to start a movement in Santa Barbara. Just as we're known for starting the environmental movement, it is possible that this movement will take hold. In fact, it already has taken hold. And we'll move forward from city to nation to the entire world. And we just have to believe in our heart that this is possible, that we will not have a war in the year 2020. And it really, it makes me so happy to see the young people here, because really, we can do it, some of us older folks, but it's really going to depend on you. If we can show that it can be done in that year 2020, it can be done in 2021 and 2022. It can keep going. And just imagine what we will save, what we can do with that money that is not spent on killing people. So, on behalf of my office, I want to present a certificate of gratitude to you for bringing this issue to the forefront and reminding us that anything is possible, and we will work with you. And I'm just so proud to have had the opportunity to know you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, on behalf of 2020, a year without war, let me say that inevitably when we give these, well, not getting quite something like this, but give these talks to groups, everybody's in favor of the idea. They think this is a great idea to have a year without war, but the majority don't think it's possible. But again, when you look around, you see here, I would think most of you may be disposed in the other way, but usually what comes up, people think, well, it's been there in history for so long, maybe it's just a natural thing for human beings. But we've dealt with natural disasters before, things like smallpox, and we don't have smallpox anymore. But war isn't a natural disaster. It's always chosen by a group. And so we want people to think of 2020, a year without war, as a 21st century abolition movement. And in the 19th century, when the abolitionists decided it was it's time to end slavery, I think we're the group of people that are going to say, look, you crunch the numbers, you look at the details, the winners no longer win wars, the losers are always the losers. And at this point, it's no longer rational to do this. And so we're that abolition voice starting here saying, look, we've got the technology now for the first time in our history to give voice to nearly 1 billion people. Our goal is at least 800 million. We believe we can bring together all the major world's religions, the United Nations, and a whole heck of a lot of independent nations to agree that we can at least have 1 year without war. And again, for all of you who want to be a part of this, keep it simple. Right? People will ask us, what are you going to do with the big military-industrial complex? That's not our problem. That's somebody else's problem. Right? We just want this 1 year to be set aside as a year without war. So, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for all of your support. We're here to answer the questions. If you wander around, you'll find about a dozen of our programs up and moving, and we're here to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much for showing up. And you're the ones that'll make it possible. The people in the shirts around here, you see, are all of our volunteers that have been working on this. Give them a thank you, if you will. And I won't go through a long litany of names. Thank you so much.
Well done. Let's get a few.
Like us on Facebook.
Like us on Facebook. Join us at our website. Pick up some cards and brochures.
Thank you. These are
on your time. Hi, Mark McIntire here again, and we have a film production company with their principal partners
Yes, and they are an integral part of what we're doing here today at A Year Without War 2020. As you can see, the crowd, they have been doing all the interviews that you're seeing here on our website and on YouTube and Vimeo and every other place. What's the name of your company?
New North Productions.
New North Productions. Write that down. You will be hearing about them. What is your website?
NewNorthProductions.com.
How did I guess that? NewNorthProductions.com. And what kind of videos do you specialize in?
We are going to, in the future, specialize in feature films.
Feature film. And Eric, you are the producer for the company?
Yes, that's correct.
So you're the guy that writes the check for me?
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Why did you get involved in 2020 A Year Without War, Eric?
I got drawn in because of this guy. He got offered to do the commercial for A Year Without War, and then Joey wanted me on our producer, and now we live together and started a company together. So.
And how many years has the company been in operation?
Since February 14th this year.
And the sky's the limit, right?
Oh, yeah. That's where we're going.
So these are the folks that will be bringing you all of the audio, the video, the web feed, the web stream as we ramp up to 2020 A Year Without War. They're here at the beginning and they're going to be there at the end.
At the top.
At
Together.
the top. The envelope, please. And the winner is...
Who is it? I don't know.
Who's the winner?
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah, of course.
And now back to our studio. Thanks a lot, guys.
Here, and it's wonderful to see how this thing's really taken off.
Yes.
Really taken off.
Why do you support 2020 A Year Without War? What draws you to this, Len?
You know, it just makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Who could oppose it?
I can't think of anybody who'd oppose it.
No.
I mean, it just makes so much sense for the whole world.
And it's a very big idea.
It's a big idea.
It's a powerful idea.
It's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
It's a powerful idea. Just think of the trillions of dollars that can get redirected into things that are much more beneficial to humanity than war.
Mm-hmm. Well, spoken like a true Board of Trustees director, think of what we can do with all this money we're wasting on war. We can give it for education and do wonderful things for our future generations.
And at least have everybody in the world have a good meal every day.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Len. Have
My
a great
pleasure.
time. Thanks for taking a few minutes with us, okay?
My pleasure.
Right. And now back to our studio. And I'm right here with Michel Saint-Sulpice. He is a devoted follower and supporter of 2020 A Year Without War. Happens to be a friend of mine because we have a student that we support between us named Matthew Bixby, who is our ambassador for 2020 A Year Without War in UK at the University of Edinburgh.
Hey, that's right, yes.
Well, welcome.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is a project that is very important for the whole planet. And I'm so happy to see a lot of people joining in to help make this year, 2020, A Year Without War. And the thing is that it won't stop on 2020. It will continue. We'll get so happy about having
because
a
we
year
might like it.
without war.
Right.
We say, let's continue, and then the war will be abolished from the face of the earth.
That's the spirit, Michel. End war completely.
Completely.
Because you know what? In 2020, A Year Without War, they might just like that, right?
We will love it so much.
Thank you for being with us, Michel.
Thank you very much.
And now back to the studio. Great. I'm here with Michael Kashmiri, a recent graduate of Santa Barbara City College and a major in political science. Michael, welcome.
Thank you.
Are you having a good time?
I am, Joe is being a good host, and you're giving me a good laugh or two.
Well, you've got a great profile, so we have to get your profile. Tell me, why you're a political science major? Why are you supporting A Year Without War 2020?
Well, I think looking at the world events, Syria, the Arab Spring as a whole,
right.
what happened in Uganda a few years ago when
right.
Joseph Kony came to light.
Right.
I think people are starting to realize that we need to do something rather than just read about the news that is happening, saying, oh, that's horrible, and then looking at the Kardashians on TV after that.
Right.
People start to realize that you need to do something. In the 60s, the public interest groups were always driven by young people. Berkeley was a big
that was my era.
hotspot. Oh that was your area.
And Joe White. Sorry, I got you.
No worries.
And we protested in those days. That was time for the young people to do something.
Exactly. So it was young people driven by the need for change, and they were the engine of all of the change that was coming. So today we have, we don't have the hippies and the long hair anymore, but it's still the same kind of spirit.
spirit,
Yeah, same spirit, and it's all driven by volunteers, the young people. I mean, it's just something that has to be done, and people.
Now, where are you going to carry this? Where are you going to carry this message to? Other parts of the world?
Well, I'm going to University of Pennsylvania, UPenn.
That's another part of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So East Coast, it's very far.
Yeah,
so
I'm from Boston. So. Yeah.
Oh, really? Cool. Harvard area. Yeah.
They need you in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So I'm going to UPenn, and hopefully I'm gonna take classes with famous political scientists that deal with international institutions, NGOs, the UN, and what they've done to make change. And of course, studying the UN, there's the Kellogg-Briand Pact of 1929. And they signed the petition. This is all very interesting. So I'm hopefully gonna take this on to UPenn. And
Spoken like
continue.
a true political science major. Michael, congratulations on your recent graduation.
Thank you.
The best of wishes to you at the University of Pennsylvania, spreading the message of 2020, a year without war. Now back to our studio.
Thanks.
And hello here. I'm here with one of the leading powers of 2020, a year without war, Melissa Johnston. And I never get the pronunciation correct on your last name.
Melissa Ashbaugh Johnston.
Melissa Ashbaugh Johnson. There you go. And she is one of the most important people here at 2020 A Year Without War, because she actually does a lot of the day-to-day activity, organizing, planning, and executing all of the events that we have, and making sure all of our projects are up to date, our website, our proclamations, our Peace Crane program. Other than that, are you having a good time?
I'm having a great time. Welcome to Santa Barbara. How does it get better than this?
Are you happy with the turnout? You had a lot of people
I love
here.
it. Yep. They're still coming in.
Yeah. Now, give us your best reason. Joe gave us his. Your best reason for supporting 2020 A Year Without War.
There's so many reasons. One of my strongest reasons. Well, there's so many reasons. Where to start? One of my favorite ideas is this idea with Peter Singer. I was a philosophy major, and Peter Singer had this article where, basically, in a nutshell, if you can do something very, very small that affects so many people, in some sense, you have a moral obligation to do that. So when I heard about this project, that I was skeptic at first, I'll admit, but it kind of crept up to me. Like, if I could just do something so small that could affect everybody, change history, change humanity. Why not? Why not? It has to start somewhere. We've been sick of war. We've been saying we have to stop war for so long. Now's the chance. Now, more than ever, we have this technology, this group of tech-savvy, cosmopolitan individuals and millennials that have the chance to make this happen.
And Michael was just talking about how this is spreading all around the world, mainly because of the work you do. Melissa is really the coordinator of the entire organization. You're now in how many countries all over the world?
We have visitors from over 90 countries. Our Facebook friends, we have about 3,000 friends right now from over 50 countries.
And we're collecting videos like this, testimonials for A Year Without War. So if you want to do one on your iPhone, your iPad, or your camera, please feel free to do so. And where should they send their videos to?
Send it into content, CONTENT, at AYWW.org.
That's this place right here.
That's us.
All right. Thank you very much, Melissa. And now back to the studio.
I have known Joe White, and my husband went to a number of his classes, and he got very enthusiastic about the idea. And I was never in a war, but I was raised in Vietnam, and I saw, a vision of the Japanese.
Let me introduce you first on the camera.
That
was a good rehearsal. That was a great rehearsal. All right, we're still rolling.
Okay.
I'm right here with Misha and Brigitte, and they have experiences from World War II that actually give us great reasons for supporting 2020 A Year Without War.
Indeed.
Misha, can you tell us why you support?
Well, first of all, I'm against war and cannot see any constructive part of solving problems with war. But secondly, I was 4 years in the World War II in the U.S. Army Signal Corps.
And where were you stationed during the war?
Actually, all over. I was first in the China, Burma, India theater, then in the Persian Gulf in Iran for a long time, which was mainly a supply route for the Battle of Stalingrad, where they were dying and starving and freezing to death On both sides.
And what work did you do? What was your duty assignment?
Technically, it was morale building by running radio stations, armed forces radio service, particularly in Iran and later in Paris, and with the Fifth Army in Italy for a short period of time.
Well, thank you for all you've done for your country. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate you being here today.
Well, you're doing, rather than saying thank you to me, you're doing exactly what I want you to do. You're supporting this project.
Actually, you should be doing the interview. I should be on the other side of the camera because you have more experience than I do. We're going to turn to your wife, Brigitte. Tell us about your experiences during the...
Okay, yes, I was raised in Vietnam. I was just a child.
You were raised in Vietnam?
Yes.
Oh.
And during the Japanese occupation, and I mean, it was war too there. We hardly had enough to eat, and we were threatened all the time by the forces, the Japanese forces. And then I went later on in Senegal, and in Senegal there was also I worked for the radio station there, and there were some heavy time where the Senegalese wanted their independence from the French. They never were at war, and the strange part was when finally they got to be independent, they got much worse than when the French was around. But anyway, but I was never really in France. I came back from Vietnam. The war was over, so I never experienced a war in Europe.
Yeah.
But I heard.
And it's something you don't want to see that happen again, I'm sure, right?
Absolutely not. Yeah. And I had an uncle that was a pilot. I mean, a war pilot, and he was killed in northern France. And as to the war before, the first war, two of my grandfather, they were medic, were both killed. Oh. So I never knew them. Oh. I never met them, never knew them. So war after war in our family, you know, we lost people very close to us.
Well, through the work of 2020, a year without war, in 2020, no one should die. Yes. No one should be dying in 2020, a year without war.
At least the concept is absolutely great. Now, of course, I hope he will be successful. He will be successful if everybody, talk about it. Most of the people do not want war, but they say sometimes you have to, or you can't stop it.
Right.
And then they don't want to hear about it because you detest it, but at the same time it's happening. Oh God, again, we're going there and there.
Right. Eddie, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, one thing is that she actually spent, as a kid, every night in an air raid trench because they were being bombed at the time.
Well, when we're successful in 2020, a year without war, that won't be happening. Thank you very much, Misha and Brigitte.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And enjoy your day here in
Thank
celebration.
you for your work.
Okay, and now back to the studio. You on your stunning recent election last Tuesday.
Yes, that was wonderful. Now we move on and do all of these other wonderful things that this community stands for.
And
I'm very proud to represent where we're standing as part of the 2nd District.
That's right.
Yeah.
We are standing literally in your district.
In my district, yes. Yes, we are.
I understand you have brought a proclamation that you'll read later to the Assembly.
I did. It's a certificate of recognition, and it comes from the 2nd District office. It really is to acknowledge the wonderful work that you and the folks that are involved with this have really started. This is such, as I finish a campaign, and it was such a grassroots campaign, I feel that anything is possible.
Yes, yes.
When people are motivated and they see the importance of, imagine a world, for 1 year, just 1 year, a world with no war.
Who knows, they might like it.
I think they're going to love it. I think they're going to love it.
What do you think is the best reason why you personally support 2020, a year without war? The first thing that comes to your mind
I guess because it's always intrigued me why people fight and kill each other. Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense just from that point of view of humans killing each other. Sometimes people from literally a same community. I mean, I was in Rwanda and I listening to what happened in that genocide, and you wonder, how does that happen? People who are all, from Rwanda killing each other. It makes no sense. Not to mention the incredible cost and what we could do with that money if it wasn't spent on something that was so useless.
Especially in education and healthcare.
Absolutely.
Well, we want to thank you for being here, supporting us, and we really appreciate the 2nd District Office for preparing the proclamation.
Thank you.
And who could possibly not be against 2020, a year without war?
Exactly.
Thank you, Supervisor Janet Wolf, and now back to our studio.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet. I'm here with Gina Newell, and she is on the steering committee for 2020, a year without war. She's one of the people who makes the organization work and work very, very well. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Are you having a good time?
Yes. I love the water. Water's great.
Great turnout.
There you go.
Great turnout.
I'm surprised.
And
There's a lot of supporters here.
I see you've got the T-shirts laid out, the Peace Crane Project. All the tables have projects that are devoted for that.
Yes. I do not have my T-shirt on because it's going to Burning Man, so it's already decorated. I thought I may not wear it here.
What are some of the things you're working on to bring more people into the organization?
Well,
supporting a year without war.
I'm going from school to school and talking to all the administration there and the children, and I've been talking to people in the hospital where I work and just trying to spread the word to anybody and everybody that'll listen to me.
And what's your principal reason why you personally decided to join 2020, a year without war?
Well, I have a 5-year-old, and I want to make sure that he knows that it's possible when he's the one that's voting, that he can vote for things like this, and that he knows that it's not just war that he's grown up in, that it's a possibility that he can turn things around at his young age until he's older. And he's the one that's going to be voting in 2020, so if I did my math right. So I just want him to know that it's a huge possibility of things like that.
Well, that's one of the best reasons I've heard all afternoon. How old is your son?
He's 5.
And he actually comes to our meetings.
Yes.
So he'll know exactly what to do.
Yes, and he did a presentation on AYWW in his class at his Montessori school.
And his name is?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. Hello, Sebastian. Mommy's doing a great job.
Yes.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And now back to our studio. Thumbs up when you're ready. Hi, I'm here today with one of the key members of the steering committee of 2020, a year without war, Mr. Benjamin, your full name, Nordstrom, and your last name is Iverson.
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
No.
No.
Iverson Nordstrom, that's right.
Oh, I got it. Well, I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
I get my merge mixed up. Ben is on the steering committee, and he's been working for how many years on this project?
About a year, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And why did you get involved in this?
I believe in the project. I believe that it needs to change. It seems like there's a younger generation who doesn't want to have these kind of wars anymore.
Very, very good reason. And you're originally from?
Sweden.
And you are setting up our operations over there in Sweden, is that correct?
That is accurate, yes.
Yeah. Now, this young man here, he's very modest, but this man has a business sense, so you'll be hearing a lot from this individual. I want to thank you for everything you're doing, and have a great deal of fun. Great turnout. I see the grade school kids just arrived, so we'll be talking with them. And now back to our studio.
Great.
Perfect. Hi, I'm here with Norman Johnston, and he's one of the very hard workers here at 2020, a year without war. Helped to put this event together today. Thank you so much for the work that you did putting this beautiful celebration ceremony here today. Where are you from originally, Norman?
Originally, I'm from a little town called Hesperia, California.
Oh, Hesperia, California. And you're a student here at City College?
Yes, that's correct.
And what is your major?
Philosophy.
Another philosophy student. No,
yes,
really?
Yes.
Imagine that. And give us your real principal reason. What's the reason that motivated you to get involved in 2020, a year without war?
Well, I guess I've always grown up hearing all these dreams about world peace and stuff like that, and I never really thought about it. And I was taking Joe White's class, and he brings up this idea, and I just guess it kind of hit me like, why it hasn't happened yet? Like, why is it just like this dream, this impossible dream? And now I just feel like it's time to do something. And so here I am trying to do something.
Here you are, and you are making it happen, and we want to thank you very much for your work, because we know that when you leave Santa Barbara City College, you will be taking this forward.
Yes, of course.
All right, and now back to our studio. Thanks, Norman.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm here with Nidal Alwan. He is our Middle East ambassador, and Nidal is one of the hardest working people we have here on 2020, A Year Without War. You must be ecstatic because of this turnout.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I am. I'm extremely excited.
You look really happy today.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
How did you get involved in A Year Without War representing Jordan?
Well, it was a funny story, actually. My roommate, Joey, took a couple of classes with Joe White and heard through his class about
Joe White, there's that name again.
Yeah, and he told me, he's like, hey, Nidal, look, there's this new project starting at SBCC. It sounds great. And I was very excited about it, very optimistic, and I decided to join instantly.
And you are doing wonderful work. You are really the ambassador for 2020, A Year Without War in the Middle East, and your home country is Jordan, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And tell us what you're doing over there, Nidal.
So from my high school, I graduated from a high school called American Community School, and we just started a satellite chapter of A Year Without War in Jordan. So very excited about that. High school students, mostly 17 to 18-year-olds, and what they're trying to do is just spread the message for A Year Without War as much as possible and try and get us as much networking and as many people on board.
And Nidal has a very big project that he's in partnership with other young people all through the world, through the United Nations, if I can get it out of my face here. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. The UNFPA, which is the United Nations Food Fund, has a 10-day seminar kind of thing that happens from the 1st of September till the 10th of September. It happens across 48 different countries in the world and more than 20,000 participants. So I just talked to one of the organizers, who was one of 7 actually, and she was extremely excited about A Year Without War and about having us represented in the conference all over the world. So hopefully in September we're going to have a lot of new recruits.
And our goal, of course, is to get all the decision makers of all organizations that support us to arrive at the United Nations and get them to slam that gavel down and say, stop this in the year 2020, no more war. Okay?
Exactly.
Thank you so much, and now back to our studio. I'm back here with Joachim Svensson. I got it right? And you like the matching sunglasses? This guy and this film crew and this company, New North Productions, is headed for the top. And we wanted to talk about with you, Joey. We call you Joey, Joachim. But we want to talk about a documentary that you're doing in the Middle East.
Yes, we're trying to raise money, $10,000, to do a short documentary about the Syrian refugee camps in Jordan. And we want to come in with the point of view and the angle of trying to document and to show the resilience within the Arabic culture, to show that these people don't give up, that this is, there's so much love in there that we want to capture, and as well as shine a very unbiased light on the situation, bring it up to the people's knowledge, or show what truly is going on, and then for an audience that will move on it, that will,
Where are you going to start historically? Where's your point of departure, and then where you're going to go up to? You're probably going to present day, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Where are you going to start the narrative?
The narrative is going to be we're going to follow 5 families within the camps, and then within these families there will be stories that we will uncover, that we will tell, and then if these stories are sort of they're absolutely going to start very far back, and they're going to the future is very much in discussion. So there's going to be these long stories. There's just so much going back in this situation.
So you will be following the pathos, the angst,
yeah,
the suffering,
right,
and all of the disturbance that comes through war. And of course, this is why you're attached to 2020 A Year.
Absolutely. And I want to stay away from. I want to obviously show the horrific side, because it is truly horrific. But I also want to shine how beautiful this resilience is within them, and also try and capture what happens to a child when they're being born in a place like this? When a refugee in a refugee camp, or what happens to that person? What goes on? What their view of the world is? What did they see when they don't really have truly somewhere that is theirs?
And now you've got the narrative, you've got the storyline. Of course, making movies, it's all about storytelling, folks. Absolutely. You ask anybody in Hollywood, they'll tell you. Anytime you see an Academy Award, you'll be getting one soon. But when you see that, it's all about a story. What a great idea you've got for the story.
Very much. I also wanted to mention real quick also, we're trying to bring along our friend Daniel Hampe, who's an artist based up in Oakland. bring him along to capture, in essence, what he sees from his perspective, and trying to go after this theme of the strengths within each within each person, and then have at the end hopefully generate enough artwork that towards the end, when we come home with the documentary and send it on its way through festivals, that we can back that with an art show as well. Then 100% of the profits from that show will go back to the camp.
Okay, so if I have $10,000 in my car and I want to give it to you, can I go to your website and see the updates about the project?
Absolutely, you will at that point. Absolutely. Right now we're so young, so we're getting, slowly but surely we're getting.
And New North Productions, newnorthproductions.com.
Yes.
Okay, that's the website to go to. So look in the cushions of your couch, get that $10,000 bunch of change and paper there, and send it to this guy because he's going to be famous.
That's all we need.
Famous. Thanks a lot, Joaquin.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now back to the studio.